gentle learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I was muted, so maybe you saw my lips moving and you didn't hear anything, and I do that sometimes. Also, I guess I'm not used to being on camera on Sunday, so you'll have to excuse my user errors. Let's call it that. Today, June 16, 2024. Happy Father's Day. Happy Baba's Day to any of you who are fathers in the audience. I think that if you're doing the job, you should get some recognition. So shout out to you and all of you men who have fatherly roles. I think that that's a pretty big responsibility. And again, if you've been tasked with this job, then more power to you, because I can't do it. No, I'm not one of those thinks that they can do the same thing that the man can do or that they're supposed to. No, we have our day. It's in May. And to any single moms in the audience who feel some kind of way about the men having their day, maybe you chose a man who didn't want to fulfill the duties of a father. You know, I think certain conversations should be held before having babies, but that's just what I thought about me, because I'm just Eve and you guys are going to do you time and time again. And I think that that's okay as long as you're cool with the consequences. So happy Father's Day to the fathers. And there are no mothers doing both jobs. If you're a single mom, you're a single mom. You know, you're not mom and dad. And that's very strange that you would want to put on both hats like that. Anyway, that was an aside. And to tonight I wanted to talk about, is it all right? I mean, it's all white, the law, that is. Have you ever wanted to break the law? I think that there is a bunch of different examples in history of people breaking the law, and it was all white. I mean, all right. I'm sorry. Gonna have to forgive me. It seems like the only time that it's okay is when you don't look like me. So me, you have to look like him. Can you see him on your screen? I don't know. You're right, Isla. It is time to do the math. And with that being said, let's get to the first equation. So the math, where are we going to start? I guess we got to start a couple hundred years ago, because people like to do that. They want to take our story to a very, very, very long time ago. I mean, antiquated even. They want to put us back on the motherland. But no, we don't have to do that to prove our point. Some of these points are things that we've experienced here on this land, on this soil. So my first example of it's all right to break the law, the Boston Tea Party, right? I think that in real time, you've got a group of people who said that it wasn't cool to be taxed if they weren't going to have the same type of representation. No taxation without representation is what they said as they dumped the tea into the Boston Harbor, as they defied the rule of the British. That was so patriotic, right? It was patriotic to be unpatriotic. But that was in 1773. I know, Eve, that was so long ago. There couldn't possibly be more examples of people just breaking the law brazenly because it was the right thing to do, seemingly. I mean, was it the right thing to do? Was destroying all that property the right thing to do, or was it the white thing to do? I think that some of these conversations, maybe people think that they're all equal and they're not. They're not equal because the variables aren't equal. 2 plus 2 is 4, right? So is 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. That also equals 4. But 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 2. So is it the same, or are they pieces of? And if they're pieces of, or if they are not the same, and you need them to do the same thing, well, I think the conversations have to start being broken down and talked about why certain people get away with some things and why certain people are afraid of doing some things. Because Black America, it's all white, right? Or am I wrong? Because I find that you know what to do when it comes to them other people, treating them right, white. We're going to have that all night, I think. Because, like Dr. Short says, white woman and white man to you, brother and sister, because you know how to treat them right when they're white. But Black first, Black power, Black man, I love you, Black woman, I love you. No, that what is the love? Is it love or is it something else? I think these conversations are leveled, and they're leveled because people think that we're all talking about the same thing. And maybe we want to talk about the same thing, but without context, well, you're giving meaning to something that I'm not even talking about. It's like looking at a painting. I'm an artist, so I can talk about this. This is my area of expertise. If you paint something, or let's go with me, if I paint something and then I show it to someone and I say, what do you see in this? And they give me their honest answer about what they see. That is what they saw. Is it what I painted, though? That's the conversation. People are having different conversations because we're taking the context out of it and just hoping we all are talking about the same thing. So tonight, the law, it's all white. At least to me it is. I don't know that there's any instance where we've been able to use the law to our benefit, unless you drop your Blackness. You drop your Black and then you get treated a little bit differently. I mean, they don't forget that you're Black, but you do get into certain spaces in some places. You get to be around some people because you're seemingly safe. You're all right, right? The token, the spook who sat by the door. Why do some of these people get into these positions where they can listen and they can be a fly on the wall? And well, if you were wondering, I think it's because they are safe. They're safe because of how they talk, what they're talking about, how they act, what they do. Some of y'all niggas ain't safe. And I'm not just talking about to them people. I'm just talking about in general. Y'all just have unsafe life practices. And I don't even mean what y'all probably think I mean. No, I'm talking about if you go to the grocery store, but you don't know how many exits are at that store, that's unsafe. Eve, you're being paranoid. Am I? How many grocery stores have been shot up in the last 5 years? At some point, you would have had to take note that this is an environment where you're not just shopping for produce anymore. You're not just going to the butcher, at Kroger anyway. No, this is now an environment that is more survival. It's almost like we're back on the lam, fighting for survival in between the aisles of peas and bread. Shit is strange, but okay, maybe that's just me. Unsafe is allowing your children to go to someone's house that you don't know. Oh, Eve, I know that child. That child is so sweet. I see them every day at school and they're always greeting me. And it's just, no, little Timmy. Timmy is great. Timmy wants John to come over. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. You know, Timmy's great. So, of course, he comes from good parents. Well, a lot of those times, nothing happens. Ha! You thought I was going to say that something happens. No, something doesn't happen a lot of times. Something happens when something happens. But are you paying attention to the things that happen when they do? Because I do. And when I start paying attention to the things that happen when they do, John looks like me. Timmy looks like him on your screen. And the math stops mathing. John gets hurt. Nobody knows what happened. John goes missing and nobody knows when he left. Something happens to John, but now nobody knows nothing about nothing. The most helpful people in the world are just dumbfounded. Like, what? I don't know. He was here and then we thought he was having a good time. What? No, that's unsafe practices. Am I still in conspiracy land for you? Okay. Unsafe practices are allowing your children to play at the playground unsupervised. Oh no, that's helicopter parenting. Eve, you got to let them live. We didn't have our parents at the playground all the time. And the people older than me are on some shit where we were kicked out the damn house and told not to come back. My parents didn't do that to me, but I know some of y'all older people in the room, y'all had it rough. I mean, if you got told to leave the house in the morning and then not come back home until the street lights came on, that's rough. What are you supposed to go do? Oh, I got it. You're supposed to go live. What a thought. What a thought. Black people just living. Has it ever been real? Have we ever just been able to just go live? I hope you said yeah, because y'all are here because of the ability for us to be great at existing. I mean, you can't really knock us for that. We've been here for a very long time. We will be here for a very long time. But in what state and at what cost? If you listen to me for any real length of time, and I'm talking over different shows or episodes or whatever, you'll hear me say that. At what cost? In what context? In what state? How are niggas going to be here? Because we're going to be here. The math on that is solid. They have not figured out a way to vitiligo you that I know of. I don't know, man. Science fiction is so crazy. Maybe they have, and it just hasn't been put out there yet. But from what I know, I don't know that science can do that just yet. Because when they do, y'all niggas who sign up for experimental things, I'm sorry, I wasn't laughing. I choked on my laugh because I couldn't get it out. But no, you experimental Negroes gonna be the first ones to lose your color. And it's not just gonna be your color that goes, because with melanin comes so much more. I wonder, Isla, I have an ADHD thought for you. Do people with vitiligo, like, their melanin dies, right? That's what happens because that's why it turns white? Or is it just diseased? Like, what happens to their melanin? I'm not a scientist, you guys. I'm not a doctor either. And I definitely am a person who wants to learn things. So sometimes I might just ask questions. In general, I'll probably ask them of Isla because she'll remind me that I asked and actually care about the answer and look it up for me later. But when you lose your melanin, what happens? Oh shit, I know what happens. You guys know about the Ice Age? No, you probably don't because you don't like to read. But if you like to listen, you can listen to like Dr. Winters. He talks about the Ice Age. If you don't like Dr. Winters, you can listen to like, I don't know, Kaba Hiawatha Kamene talks about them people from back then. And if you don't like the spiritual comedic side of things, then maybe you could listen to I don't know, Umar. Shit, I got tongue tied. You could listen to Umar, goddammit. Some of y'all just, I don't know, it's a personality thing. So I don't know who you want to listen to, but there's a lot of people who've done the reading if you don't want to read. Also, a lot of these books could be audio for you. As an educator, I found that there's a bunch of different programs where you can put the book in an audio format. So it doesn't have to be on audio.com or on Audible. You can use a program to put the book in an audio format for you so that you can listen to it. You're not stifled by having to listen to the text. But I said all that to say that if you read or you listen or you want to learn the Ice Age, when niggas had to go into caves to survive the Ice Age, they lost their melanin because of how long they stayed in the caves. And when they came out, well, loss of melanin, different types of hair, different color eyes, different types of thought. I've always argued before actually knowing that if you used to eat people, then you might have a different relationship with the people that you used to eat. And in real time, the white woman and the white man are having a power dynamic struggle. They want to be in charge of things in the most fucked up ways. I think that's the first time I cursed tonight. 17 minutes in. I have to check it. But if the white man used to eat the white woman and the white child for that matter, then maybe she would feel some kind of way about him being in power. Maybe she wouldn't want him to be in power anymore as much as she wants to be in control of things. Enter in feminism, and now the black woman is on the white woman's fight for power that she's never going to get because she's not white, but it's all white, right? I don't know. What I do know is that some of the laws, a lot of the laws, all the laws, if you look like him on the screen, you might be good. If you look like me, you might not be good. And it doesn't matter that I have blonde hair because that's just a mask. Anyway, it's all white. Let me get another example. Another example of people breaking the law for the right reasons, mind you. At least according to AI, a really good example is during the women's suffrage movement. Shout out to me for remembering that feminism and women's suffrage, all the same shit. Susan B. Anthony. Y'all know who that is, right? So in 1872, she's all like, I'm going to stand in the way because women need the right to vote. And the women's suffrage movement begins, or is solidified, or something. Women suffering. Have you feel like we're anywhere further today than we were in 1872? I've seen the reels. I've seen you. You're all like, whoever voted for this equality crap, you want to go back in time and beat them up. It's a bunch of women who don't look like me talking this shit too. And I mean talking it in a big way. I mean talking it like if equality actually meant that women get to do whatever they want to do without having any accountability, then these women would be championing it. It's strange. It's strange. When responsibility, consequences, and accountability are involved, the same people who were fighting for something are all like, wait a minute, I don't actually want that. I want something else. And you're going to have to just listen to me because I'm a woman. But doesn't that defeat the whole equality argument? Because if you're saying that you can ignore him, then can't he ignore you too? Like, where's the mathing? No, it doesn't math because it's all white. It's all white because we are living in a system of capitalism that is dominated by racism, white supremacy. The math is not going to math until the majority do something about it. When is it okay to break the law? I wonder, chat in the comments, when is it okay to break the law? Is it okay to break the law when you're emotional about something? Because I think that maybe if you emotionally kill somebody, that you get a lesser sentence than if you go and plan to kill somebody. So, maybe sometimes emotionalism works in somebody's benefit, not the person who dies, no, but in the consequence arena of the person who is doing the killing. Maybe it works then, but sometimes, maybe most times, it's not like that. And if it's not like that, then can't we do something about it? Or can we do something about it? The dominant society, as people so lovingly put it, is a group of people who have self-identified themselves in the red. I say self-identified because we use their numbers, we use their data, we use their research. A lot of times they're using our research, but at least with regards to these numbers and these censuses and stuff, this is all them. It's all white. And with their information tracking and sharing, they're in the red. And I don't think they're playing chicken with us, you guys. I don't think they're saying, oh, yeah, let's say we're in the red and actually we're the majority and we're going to do some weird chess move. Why would you do that if you're the person in power? If you are the people at the seat of the head of the table, why would you want to act like, if you're the person sitting at the head of the table, why would you want to go sit at the kiddie table? At the kiddie table, you don't even get crab legs. You get hot dogs and hamburgers and some baked beans. You might get some red drink, and that's if people are being very friendly. At my house, you're not getting any of that shit, but that's just over here. No, I think that when you're in a position of power, you don't take the weaker position on purpose for any reason. I know. Y'all read the 48 Laws of Power and you're like, well, no, you actually would feign weakness sometimes because it makes you more powerful. And okay, maybe it does. But sometimes playing them games, play stupid games like that, you will win a stupid prize. You want an example? I'll give you an example. You have a 6-year-old nephew, son. Give them free access to punch you in the face with no consequences, as hard as they can. They're 6. How much damage are they going to do? One of y'all is going to get knocked the fuck out. I'm going to promise you that, because one of y'all got a nephew out here who's doing some work, who's playing outside, who is competitive, and has been waiting for a chance to talk to you about you, because like they're little and you've been all big and bad, and they really would like a chance to be in charge, to get a swing off without having to worry about you telling their parents or you whooping their ass or anything like that. You following my example? Let me bring it back around. So you being in the position of power, the adult in the room, the bigger person, to your 6-year-old nephew, I mean, go ahead, feign weakness. Give them free access to your chin one time, as hard as they can. Maybe that'll be what you need to know that you wouldn't do that unless you really weren't in the position of power. Maybe you're feigning power. I find that sometimes, at least in nature, sometimes the prey acts like the predator because it is a defense mechanism. So the weaker species is acting like it's the stronger, acting like it's this apex, but really it wouldn't hurt a fly or couldn't hurt a fly. Its only defense is acting like something else. Can niggas do that? Can niggas act like animals? At least to get some power? Can you feign powerful in a position of weakness? Or do you not know how to do that? If you want some examples, you can just look at the dominant society. In real time, I don't know that I've ever seen a one-on-one. They don't publicize the one-on-ones. No, they publicize when they've been able to get one over on us. They publicize when they've been the victor, and most of those times has been, well, when we've been outgunned, outmanned. I don't know that we've been outsmarted as much as sometimes niggas just focus, 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 Eve. Sometimes our focus is all the way shot. Focus on the wrong shit. You've got men focused on sex. You've got women focused on trinkets, and it's very easy to get lost. But it's all white, right? I like words because, you can put your own spin on them, at least if you look like me. When you look like them, it starts sounding very strange. They start trying to make up slang, and it's like, no, Karen, you should just stick to regular old English because that's not working for you. And actually, you're making me uncomfortable. Y'all do that yet? Y'all start taking Karen to HR because she's making you feel uncomfortable with her vocabulary. Y'all should start doing that in a very big way. Make them uncomfortable the same way that you're uncomfortable. But that's not breaking the law. No, I haven't even touched on breaking the law. But that's all right. Because right now, y'all are scared. Niggas are scared. You want to know how I know you're scared? Because in real time, some of you live in 2A states and you wouldn't even consider owning, purchasing, or having. Period. And that's strange to me because I was listening to Dr. Winters. He was talking about why we should celebrate Juneteenth. And, I know some of y'all are really stuck on the fact that that's a Texas holiday. That's not something. Man, our state was free already. We don't celebrate Juneteenth. Well, the federal government now recognizes it as a holiday. So, for all of you people who need them to give you your holiday, now they've given you a holiday. You should recognize it. And now that I'm telling you to do that, because I try really hard not to do those things, try not to tell y'all what to do. But if you're a Black American, you exist right now because of the sacrifices of those people who fought for us to still be here. I'm not talking about Juneteenth fight. No, I'm talking about all of the uprisings. Because like Dr. Winter said, they only want to talk about 3. I know. That's Hush Puppy in the background. She's trying to tell y'all. They only want you to know about 3. But it's like 200 plus. They tell you about the 3 because it shows that they were able to thwart. It puts us in a position of weakness. It keeps them in a position of power. In real time, if you learned of all the different times that we stood up for ourselves in tangible ways, in ways that meant that we knew that our survival meant that we can't rely on that anymore. We're going to have to do for self. Maybe you guys wouldn't be afraid to push back on some of this stuff. But if you've bought into the hypocrisy of a system that doesn't speak for us, that's supposed to protect us, well, maybe you're all white. And that's not okay. Because if you've got melanin and you've succumbed to the illness that is AIDS, then, well, I think that we should have a funeral for you. And then, celebrate what could have been and then move on. Because let's face it, some of y'all are on borrowed time anyway. It's, no, I'm sorry. We're all on borrowed time. Let me not go there. Let me just say that breaking the law is all right if you don't look like me. Because my next example of breaking the law is right now in 2024. When I was trying to find different examples of breaking the law, current event breaking the law, socially appropriate breaking the law, that My chat GPT, my AI did not want to give me the examples. So when I asked it about illegal migration, it said, well, that's a complex issue, Eve, because, we've got sympathies and we've got emotions involved. And it's like, well, damn, if AI gets it, why can't we have the same conversation when it comes to us? I mean, when it comes to our reparative justice, aren't there emotions involved? Isn't it a complex issue that has bleeding hearts and lots of violence, playing lots of different sad songs to make people want to do the right thing? Because, I mean, right now in real time, we're told, just do the right thing, Black America. You guys have been dealing with your shit. These new people have shit too, and we gotta get to them first. Y'all have been dealing with it. You know what it's like to deal with it. You can continue to deal with it for all we care. No, these new people, no, we want to help them, and you're going to help us help them. And if you don't, well, we're going to tell you that you're being a bad person. And that's really all it takes. Black America, that's all it really takes for y'all to move off of your stances, for someone to tell you you're being a bad person. That's crazy, because being a bad person means that we get to continue existing in a way that makes sense to our children. That we're not in some Handmaid's Tale, that we're not in Slavery 3.0, that we're not their puppets, we're not their tokens, that we are a unique people who should be celebrated all the time. Because without us, life would be really hard for pretty much everybody. So outside of, that story, what are we doing? Why are we feeding the minis the lies that we were told to eat and were told that was nutritious? I mean, you can look at what we used to eat. People used to say that Wonder Bread, white bread, was nutritious. People used to say that getting your glass of milk is how you're supposed to fortify your bones. And if you use the internet today, you can see that white bread is full of bleach. And if it's nutritious white bread, and it's like white bread, Wonder Bread, then it's because they've added ingredients like minerals and such. The reason you're getting nutrients from cow milk is because they've added the nutrients and minerals. So if they got to add it, then maybe there's a better way. Maybe there's something that we could be doing that we don't have to do all the additives. That's where you start dying, the additives. So in real time, niggas started changing up how they eat. Do you know what happened? Black America said that our health was important to us, and the cost of food quadruple fucked us in the ass in a bad way. And y'all can think that it's unrelated if you want to, but it's not. Let me say it to the camera. When Black America said that our health was important, y'all niggas started listening to Dr. CB. You started taking CMOS. You started working out. You stopped going to McDonald's, and your ass is at Chick-fil-A like religious. And then religiously, because all y'all are at church on Sunday. Black America did that. Made the cost of groceries skyrocket. And I'm not talking about the bullshit groceries. No, I'm talking about fruits and vegetables and things that keep you healthy. That stuff has skyrocketed. People say, Eve, that's just inflation. That was going to happen anyway because, capitalism, inflation, dollar, blah. No, shame on you. Shame on you for not knowing how powerful you are. When you start doing something that disrupts their system, they fight back. But if you're not taking into consideration what their attack was, well, then you're going to continue to eat it. It's like asking someone to shoot you over and over and over again. And they keep missing because that's how wonderful we are. I say they keep missing because that hot dog didn't kill you today. And it might not kill you tomorrow. But man, if you keep eating them shits, somewhere down the line, it might do something to you. Maybe not. That cigarette didn't kill you today. It might not kill you tomorrow. But somewhere down the line, it's going to take you out. I look at your family's Black America. How much shit have y'all been able to take? And then look at their families. When they take a little bit of shit, they start killing themselves. That's all. It's not all right, but it is all white. They don't like to claim that type of stuff, though. No, they want to say that we are the dysfunctional in society. And yeah, there are some dysfunctional Blacks out here, but I think that is them creeping out of us and not us in totality. Break the law. It's all white. Look, are there any laws that y'all think are just stupid? You want to know what's a stupid law? Having to ask permission from the city to do certain things on your own land. I think that's stupid. I think that's a stupid law. And maybe it's not a law as much as it's just like some fine tape. And are fine tape things law? Because if I can get fined for it, doesn't that make it a law? In real time, if I start digging in my backyard, the city that I live in is going to have somebody at my house asking if I have the right permit to dig. What is that? It's my land. Why can't I dig? My dog died. Our dog died a couple years ago, and we had to ask permission to bury Crucy and on our land. What is that? They say evil, it's because you don't know where the power lines are, and you don't know where the gas lines are, and you don't know where the water lines are. Actually, you can do the work. You can have people, surveyors, come out to your property, and they can mark the lines. And now you know where every fucking thing is under your shit. And you can safely dig. And that didn't require a permit. It just required someone knowing something and then someone doing their job. You know what's another stupid law? Well, clearly our borders are some stupid laws because you can just break them shits and not have any consequences. I mean, I'm not talking about the Haitians who were rounded up like runaways. No, I'm talking about the ones who rush the border in Joe Biden Kamala shirts and they don't speak English, but they make pretty good tacos. At least looks like. No, they don't speak English, but they know how to cornrow, and they know how and what not to wear in certain neighborhoods and areas. No, they don't speak English, but they know how to get to the money, where the money reside, right? How is that a whole nigga, but y'all don't know how to get to where the money reside? But these people who are not from here know how to get to. The math ain't math in Isla. But I get it. Dr. Winters calls it cognitive dissonance. And I know I'm going to keep saying that Dr. Winters said this. It's because I listened to him earlier, and a lot of how I feel, he was talking about it, and he was talking about it because he wanted you niggas to celebrate Juneteenth. And I want you to celebrate Juneteenth. And not because we's finally free now. No. I want you to celebrate Juneteenth because it is a placeholder. It's like a memory marker of all the shit that we've had to go through as a people on this land and how resilient we are in 2024. Juneteenth being a time where people who were still working on the plantations had to be told that you don't have to do it like this anymore, when really that was a trick bag, because no, you actually still had to do it like this, but there are some rules now. So now it's rules on the plantation. You can't just be killing niggas, and you can't not pay them, but you can say what you want to pay them. You can pay them whatever you want, but you got to say that you're paying them, right? You got to give them the resemblance of some sort of power. Flash forward 200 years, And when you ask AI, when has the United States government ever done anything tangibly for Black Americans? It will give you examples of civil rights. It will give you examples from Joe Biden and Kamala's presidency, quoting him saying that he's helping Black people, but then you look at the programs and they don't help Black people. So it seems that words do matter, because in real time they're saying Black, but what they're doing, it's all white, right? But it's all right. You niggas don't care. Or do you? Yeah, maybe it's time for some subtraction. When the math stops mathing, not only should we take a moment to pause, look at our equation and see where we messed up at, but yeah, we might have to start taking some things out. Maybe we got a little excited, over eager. We carried the one and we shouldn't have carried that one. But are y'all ready? Are you ready to break the law? Oh, no. I'm not talking about like that, you guys. You're so bad. I'm talking about like solidifying your square. There's some really simple things that I think people would be very uncomfortable with if Black America got uncompromising as a group. And it would seem like we were breaking the law. For example, no tangibles, no vote. They tell you that your ancestors died for us to vote. They tell you that it's your duty as an American. You're a tax-paying citizen. Why aren't you voting? That's stupid. Why wouldn't you want to vote? Okay, if they don't have any options that I want, why would I vote? That's stupid. But is that breaking the law? And what's the law? Here's something I learned a couple years ago. I think it was Professor Black Truth who said it. He said the only law is the law that people are willing to obey. That's it. That's the only law there is. Outside of that, you don't have anything. In real time, Black people being murdered and the people who murder them not having any consequences, that's all sorts of laws being broken. But is anybody following the law as much as they're all white? I mean, they're right. It's okay. It was just a nigga this time and that time and them other times. It was just some niggas in the hood. Yeah. Oh, I ran over them. It's okay. I was drunk that night. You know, I didn't mean it. I don't normally drink that much. And, you know, little Shanae was in the road and I didn't see her. And I feel so bad about it. It haunts me to this day. Judge, I didn't mean it. My brother just got engaged. I just was celebrating. It was late. I was tired. Judge, I work overnight. There's so many non-excuses have been given for why it's okay to kill a nigga. And that was just a hit and run. What about the ones where they actually are trying to kill you and get away with it? What then? They're breaking the law, but it's all white. I mean, it's all right because they're white, right? Breaking the law. When is it okay to break the law? I'm trying to think. If I get mad at somebody because they didn't do what I wanted them to do, can I extort them? Can I blackmail them? Can I make them feel some kind of way about themselves because they didn't do what I wanted them to do? Can I break the law to make them bend? And is it only breaking the law if I get caught? Like, where does the conversation start? Because the law, like I just told you, it's only a law if people are willing to obey it. So if nobody's obeying the law, then I guess it's not a law. Or is it what then people write down as law? And then knowing that we are humanitarian, that we are just loving, loyal people, loyal subjects even. We will follow the law and then we will punish people who are not following the law. We will turn our own people over for breaking the law. And that's sad, because I've had I had an experiment in class one time where the teacher that I was working with, she was talking about migration, and she looked not like me. We're talking about migration to the students, and there might be some students of parents who are not supposed to be here. And me feeling how I feel about people who are not supposed to be here. It's not the child's fault. But I've seen sometimes where little Jerome gets asked a question. And because little Jerome has seen some things in his home, he might have some answers to these questions. Now, little Jerome might not have never been told what happens in this house stays in this house. Or maybe he was. And maybe little Jerome is feeling some kind of way about what happens in this house stays in this house shit. You know, man, I know some stuff. And then people get all sorts of consequences because little Jerome is talking too much. And is he talking too much, or is he just being a child? I don't know, because in real time, I've seen Hector keep his damn mouth shut about some things that he might have seen. I've seen Julia keep her damn mouth shut about some things she might have seen. And damn, they've seen some real crazy things sometimes. Have you ever stopped to consider what these people are fleeing from? I mean, if your family is trying to rape you sometimes, and then, the people in the village don't want you to go to school and educate yourself. And, you got to marry this person who's 30 years older than you, and you just learned how to ride a bicycle. Maybe you would want to flee that area. Maybe if you have to shit in a hole and wipe your ass with a leaf, you might want to flee. Maybe if the wars that seem like it's between your people that are being funded by other people, maybe the wars are so bad and you want to flee. It's a lot of different reasons for why people would want to flee. I don't know that we have that as a people over here because we're still here, but you start to get empathetic to different stories. And like I said, I don't ever fault the child for being here because they're just children. No, I very much blame their parent. But Julia and Hector, who are not supposed to be here, and they know damn well they're not supposed to be here because their moms and dads just got the fuck here, don't speak any English, and they have to translate the parent-teacher conference for them. I mean, there's a whole disability category in public schools for English language learners. It's a disability category. It's not a disability, but you get the benefit of being a person with a disability. You get extra benefits, resources, and help because you're an English language learner. What is that? Aren't you in America? Isn't our language English? Okay, so maybe you can't speak English. Maybe you start a different type of school or something. I don't know. Is night school still a thing? Like, isn't night school where the adults who need the education would go to school and try to get their GED? Is it something from the past? Is it something from just TV? Because I don't know. I think people are trying to bypass some steps when it comes to being over here the right way. And when you do that, well, they say it's all right. I mean, they say it's all right because they got a program for you. Now, you niggas, y'all have been dealing with the shit that you've been dealing with for the whole time, and you can just continue to deal with it. But maybe you do something. Maybe you break the law. Maybe you Rosa Parks it. Maybe you Claudette Colvin it, because it's not like Rosa Parks was the first. Maybe you Ida B. Wells it, because really, did you know that Ida B. Wells had her moment on a train? Maybe you break the law because it's not all right. And it's time to do some straightening. Maybe in real time you say enough is enough. Some of these laws are stupid. And it can't just be that I feel like they're stupid as much as when you look at how it's being applied it's not. And if it's not being applied the right way, then we should just scrap it, write something else. There's amendments. Constitution can be amended. Laws can be reworded, rewritten. Look, in Virginia, revenge porn used to be classified as, an insignificant misdemeanor. And then in 2019, it got an upgrade. And then in March of this year, it got another upgrade. So the laws can change. The law can morph. The law can do whatever we make it do, because the law is what people observe. It's what people follow. But what laws? What laws should be broken? And when? Is it time to just anarchy? Is it time to just be outside? Eve, are you telling niggas to just break the law? No, I'm not. But I am saying that maybe you should look at some of these laws, because, I think in real time, if the authority on things had looked into the different debaucherous activity that he participates in, then maybe he would have seen that the law changed for the crime that he participated in, the crime that he engaged in. Maybe he would have known that this is not what you want to do in the state of Virginia. Maybe you would do it in a different state, but Virginia, that's not the state you want to do it in, and as the authority on things, I would think that you would know some of this shit, but can't be the authority if you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But it's all white. I mean, it's all right, because some of y'all love that shit. I mean, you eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You really do. Really, you're watching the show 3 and 4 times, and it's cool. Maybe you need that. Sometimes people do need that. People need to know that it's okay to be uncompromising. But to what end? And at what cost? Are you uncompromising because it is the right thing to do? Are you uncompromising because you're an asshole? Like you're just a royal dick and you're just like, it's my way or no way, and it really doesn't matter if I'm right or wrong. It really doesn't matter about reason because I said it. And that's not no male or female thing. I mean, I've seen that from men and women, this asshole, uncompromising personality. People who are just like, I mean, if you're not on my side of things, fuck you. And I can appreciate somebody who's very honest about how they are, because then you can choose honestly to deal with them or not. It's the sneaky ones you got to watch out for. The ones who smile, like him on your screen. He's smiling at you. It's all white, right? You don't know if he's there with the cops. You don't know if he's like doing some kind of chess moves against the, like, you don't know what the fuck is going on, but he's just smiling at you. It's all white, right? Break the law. Let's go back in time again. Let's go back to the Civil War. Let's go back to when half the country said, fuck this, I'm out. And the other half of the country was like, no, we're going to be so weak without you. I think that was breaking the law, seceding. And inside of the secession, y'all know the real story, right? The Abraham Lincoln story, how he didn't really free the enslaved. If you don't, let's just real quick it. So when the Emancipation Proclamation was written and proclaimed, Abraham Lincoln he proclaimed that the enslaved in the rebelling states were free. But that math doesn't math, because if the states have seceded, they're no longer under Lincoln's control anymore, right? So they wouldn't actually be following those rules. If they were, then they wouldn't have seceded, right? So are we on the same page about that? Now, let's talk about the North. Let's talk about the Union. People like the fairy tale that the South is the only place that had slaves. That's not true. In real time, I want to say that Sojourner Truth was in the North. I'm sorry. I didn't want to do that. That may or may not be true. I'm not trying to look that up right now. But for the states that had enslaved, it wasn't just the South. It was not just the South. There were slaves all over the damn country. All over. Why? Because it benefited them. I mean, if they could do it, they were doing it. It's only when the rebellions became too frequent, it's only when the uprisings were too much that something had to be done. That's really why the Civil War happened. How do we handle these niggas? How do we deal with the blacks? Well, in 1862, I learned this today, General David Hunter was one of 2 Union soldiers who emancipated enslaved. He said, we need help, and gave the niggas guns. And that was against the law. I want to say he got in trouble for it. You would have to do some research about it on your own to see. But General David Hunter broke the law and freed some enslaved, because without their help, well, I don't think America would look how it looks right now at all. I think maybe it would be some sort of weird black-centered Wakanda almost. Maybe. Because what would have happened is the South would have won, but they wouldn't have been able to keep the power. Why? Because it's not enough of them. In real time, 3/5, that rule, and having representation for the electorate college and stuff like that, how many niggas was in the state versus how many white people were in the state, there was going to be virtually zero way for them to keep the power. So, in my fantasy of how things would have went had the Union lost, well, the South would have gotten powerful a little bit, and then we would have been able to fight back, and we would have been able to get the power back. And from there, well, how would we look? I don't know, because, the Moors, European Moors, American Moors, African Moors, they were all fly. Once niggas start getting comfortable and getting fly, that's when, well, this is my square, and that's your square. And, they stop working together. It starts getting real competitive when it's just us. But I get it. You only compete with the people that you can compete with. If they're not in your environment, then you wouldn't be able to compete against them. That goes for loving them. That goes for harming them. That comes and goes for all of the interactions between people. You do those interactions with the people that you're around. That's why them people like to go to our neighborhoods and act the fuck out, because they don't want to do it against their own people. They want to do it to someone who doesn't look like them. And if someone who does look like them gets caught in the fire, well, casualties happen in war. Breaking the law. When is it okay to break the law? I don't know if y'all have any thoughts about that, but while I think about my next thought, how about a Sunday school commercial?
Supplemental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story, and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB, or find me on X at Justice4Just_Us. That's JUSTICE, 4 JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first. Thank you for that. And thank you, Isla. You're so supportive and probably my bestest mod. Definitely gonna fire all the way free, but that's okay because he's tired. And the other roles, all the other roles. Anyway, Sunday school. That was a plug for Sunday school. Today's Sunday. We had Sunday school. Break the law. I didn't break the law today, but it was very hard to not make some noise. Today, number one, we got 5 minis. So number one, that's the first one. She participated with her drum group for a Juneteenth celebration. It was beautiful, beautiful drumming, but it is African drumming, right? And I don't have any issues with that. I think that our children should learn all about us. That's my thought. As a parent, that's our thought for our minis. Y'all do what you want with your minis and let me know how it works for you. I'll do the same. Or I'll do you one better. And they'll be able to tell you themselves because our minis, they have their own voice. And I think that you'll be hearing from them sooner than I want you to. But today, number one was performing with her program, and I couldn't help but see so many Pan-African colors that I had to ask. I asked 4 different people, the fuck is going on? Isn't this Juneteenth celebration? And 4 different people from different camps, all people who were working the event, said, I don't know. I'm just volunteering. I don't know. Do you know who I can ask? I don't know. I'm just handing out these little bracelets. We're just keeping track of how many people are here. Okay, well, if you're keeping track of how many people are here, who all is doing that? And can I talk to the person who decided that y'all were going to keep track of how many people were here? Do you know where they are? Do you know who that is? Oh, you don't know who that is? Okay. Break the law. No laws were broken today, but I definitely wanted to get loud. I wanted to get loud because, damn, in real time, a celebration for Black Americans was being, what is the word? It was being taken over. I was trying to find a really good, nice word. Taken over, I think, is the best. It was being assaulted with Pan-Africanism. And some religious stuff. I don't even want to get into that. But the Pan-Africanism of it all. Have you guys seen that? In businesses across the country, Juneteenth is this red, black, and green thing. And niggas is like, it's all white. I mean, it's all right. Because at least they're saying Juneteenth. Right, Eve? Isn't that what you wanted? You wanted acknowledgement? No, bitch. I want my money. And I know, Auntie, you didn't want me to say it like that, but look, it got your attention, didn't it? Can we get more like that? That's not breaking the law. Being a polarizing figure, having polarizing thoughts, not wanting to be everybody's friend is not breaking the law. But in real time, they will tell you, niggas, you breaking the law because you don't want these other people to be here? But they won't say that you're breaking the law. No, they'll just tell you you're being a bad person. You are not being very American. And didn't your ancestors fight for the rights of all people? No, niggas. They did not fight for the rights of all people. They fought for my rights, and goddamn it, I don't even have them yet. That's where we are. People have their hands out for something that's supposed to be coming to us. But no, I'm sorry, our hands are not out. Some of y'all's hands are tied up behind your backs. Some of y'all's hands are in your pockets. Some of your hands are by your side. And yeah, maybe 2 to 5% of y'all's hands are out. And maybe 2 to 5% of y'all's hands got them little balled up fists because you're ready to fight. No barbell. No, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to untie our hands and take them out of our pockets and put them in a position that makes sense. Because let's face it, if you don't start the fight, you're not the aggressor. But ending the fight, is it all right? Can we do that? Is it okay to end the fight? Is it breaking the law to end something? Because I feel like niggas say, don't start nothing, won't be nothing, right? But they started it. How can we have such sayings that people use? Google that shit right now. You'll find 28 different Becky Karen moms saying, don't start no shit, won't be no shit. They get to use our stuff and mean it. We get to say it, but no actions because it would be bad for us to act. It would be bad for us to actually mean what we say. That's what they mean, Black America. Don't let our words actually have meaning. Don't let your word have value or weight. Don't actually do the things you say you're going to do. Because when you start that, well, maybe when you say that enough is enough, you really mean enough is enough across the board. During COVID, a lot of y'all said that you hated what you saw in the classroom. You hated that your child was being ignored. You hated that the representation was not there. You hated what your child was being taught or even how they were being taught to. School's back in session, y'all. Where are your minis? 8 out of 10 of y'all are still in public school. And I'm not faulting you for not having the money. It's expensive as fuck to send 5 children to private school. I'm not shitting on anybody's resources because I know that our reparative justice fight includes resources. It's a very big thing. I know it. I get it. Some of y'all are living paycheck to paycheck, like me. But sacrifices get made. How do I really feel about things? Well, what do I spend it on? What do I spend my hard-earned dollar that doesn't really dollar anymore on? What do you spend it on? And yeah, this gets to be a very judgy conversation because then you'll say, well, I just really wanted to give my family an experience and we took a trip to Disney World and, I just thought that would be a really good time. And it might have been. But maybe you could have used that money and went somewhere else that made more sense as a Black American. Like, really. My parents don't understand that argument just yet. They're getting there, but it's still a battle because they want the children to be children. They don't want to think about the Tamir Rices. They don't want to think about the casualties, the nameless. Do y'all know all their names? I don't. But I do know that there's a lot of them, and I'll be damned if any of them are number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or 5, and there's not a consequence that makes sense. In nature, you harm the youth, the young, and there's consequences. In nature, a baby elephant gets assaulted and the whole herd comes to its aid. In nature, animals are gonna animal, right? In nature, people are mad at sharks right now. I love the ocean, and Isla, I know we love the ocean, right? Sharks, they're like pit bulls of the sea, right? Completely misunderstood creatures. But in their home, in their habitat, in their environment, I don't know that I'm trying to understand them for real, for real. I mean, I can look at them from afar. I don't know if I want to look at them in a tank, but I want to know that they're out there because when I go swimming, I don't want to be around them. Isla, she a little different, but that's okay. In real time, people get mad at a shark for being a shark. If you swimming and you look like lunch, why wouldn't the shark want to try? I don't know. Okay, maybe that was too much. In real time, let's just go animal for animal. I watched a video the other day of a baby hippo and an alligator or a crocodile. I don't know which one, but it was one of those. And the hippo is a baby hippo. And it was like, get out the water. You know, like I'm watching the video, like, get out the water. Like, don't you see them alligator over there? Get out the water. But the hippo's just like swimming, like, I'm just gonna swim. I'm a little baby. Oh, crocodile. Okay, so crocodile, and and yeah, the crocodile eats the hippo, and oh my god, I saw like 58 grown hippo ascend to the water, and they stomp the fuck out of that crocodile. And then I guess the mom or dad hippo, I don't know who it was to the baby. So maybe it wasn't even related. Who knows? Because I don't speak hippo, right? But some hippo got the crocodile in its mouth and like took it to land and continued to 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 beat it to death. I mean, it was already dead. They stomped it in the water, but then they took it on land and then continued to assault it. And I don't know if hippos and crocodiles speak the same language, right? But I do know that the circle of life is a real thing, and animals know that some animals are gonna fuck them up. So you gotta pay attention to your surroundings. I think in real time that crocodile knew that them big hippo were not playing no games, but thought it could get away with it because of the environment, the opportunity. It's just the baby hippo was right there. It's lunch. God damn it. I'm a crocodile. I'm hungry. Don't be mad at me for being a crocodile. No, I'm not mad at it for being a crocodile. But them hippo, I don't know if they were mad at it for being a crocodile as much as they just understand consequences. And if the damn hippo can understand consequences, what is going on with people? In real time, people are having a hard time with consequences. So let's make it real clear. If someone harms you, you have the right to do something back. I think even the police have different rules that they're supposed to follow with regards to harm, equal threat. If the suspect doesn't have a gun, then you don't have a gun. Or if your life is not being threatened, then you can't use those types of measurements. Now, yeah, I know in real time the police will say, well, I feared for my life. Come to find out it was, a Snickers bar. Come to find out it was just the person's cell phone. Come to find out it actually was nothing. They didn't have shit on them at all. Nothing in their pockets, nothing under the car, nothing anywhere, but the police officer was afraid for their life. Okay. But it's all white, right? I mean, isn't it? At least that's how you would think it is. In 200 years, if niggas stop talking about it like this, like how I'm talking about it tonight, and trust me, I'm not the only one talking like this. So if I'm not your cup of tea, you can go drink tea somewhere else. But this tea over here talks like this. And this tea says that it's not all right. It's not all right for people to be existing carelessly. It's not all right for Homo sapiens sapiens, people with thoughts, critical thinking skills, humor, empathy, compassion, understanding, and all the bad stuff that comes with all that stuff, can't apply simple concepts. Mr. Neely Fuller says, actually, Isla, that might be Isla's favorite person. Mr. Neely Fuller says that we overcomplicate things. Racism, white supremacy is designed to confuse us, so don't get stuck on stupid.
If you're not going to speak up, you're the one. If you're not going to speak up, you're the one. If you're not going to speak up, you're the one. If you're not going to speak up, you're the one. Vampires, they prey on your fears and they stay away. Vampires, they prey on your fears, control your life, they feel.
My bad, y'all. I have allergies. And my dog needs a bath, so you're just gonna have to excuse me because the sneezing and coughing couldn't escape that one, but I tried. And I'm not gonna have y'all here all night, I promise. But break the law. When is it all right? It's only all right when you're white. Because let's face it, when you guys break the law, they throw the book at you. They try to bury you under the jail. There's so many wrongful convictions, and that's niggas who didn't even break the law, that you would wonder, when is enough enough? And I'd like to introduce this concept to you tonight about now being the time. Now being the time where enough is enough. Now being the time where you consider that the law is not being applied in a way that makes sense. And it's time to do something about it. And if you feel like that, then I think that tonight is about you. And no, you don't have to be white. Actually, if y'all know some good white people, now would be their time. You know, they can get the example from who I told you about earlier, General David Hunter. And look, just on some real quick search about him, they're saying his nickname is Black Dave. I don't know what that's about. Maybe I'll look that up later. But David Hunter. People like to say, be like John Brown. Yeah, you can be like John Brown. But it's not like John Brown could do anything without black money. So, you know, you want to be like John Brown, do your research. And maybe there's a black person in that story that you are more akin to. But if you know some good white people, now would be the time for them to show you that it's all white. I mean, it's all right because they're white and they're going to do it for you. What do I mean? I mean, in real time, the housing market, the law is being broken all the time in the housing market because people are not able to buy in certain neighborhoods because you don't fit the description. But if you can't break or bust open that cipher, then you'll never have access. Maybe you know somebody who can help you with that. I don't know. Truancy is breaking the law. But if the school is not teaching your child what needs to be taught to them in a way that you understand it, then maybe you do something about it. Homeschooling is exactly what I said it is. It's school at home. You, the teacher, being in charge of the curriculum. There are some rules that you need to be aware of, but outside of that, why wouldn't you be the best person for the job? Is it because you weren't taught how to be a teacher? That's okay. You don't need it, because in real time, in 2024, schools all over the country are hiring en masse, and they don't give a damn if you've got a teaching license or not. They just want to know if you can be in the classroom, if you can make children be quiet, if you can make them do what you put on the screen. And if you can do that, you got the job. So if you don't need a teaching license in school, then you don't need a teaching license at home. That's the math. That's the math. So break the law. No, I'm not telling you to January 6th anything, but somebody's going to have to tell me what laws were broken, because I can't. Maybe they planned to break some laws, but what actually happened in real time, I don't know. I don't know. I do know that they try to take both sides of the argument. So, maybe that math will never math. And that's all white. But tonight, maybe there's just some simple things that we can start to challenge. Maybe you think you're breaking the law and you're not. Maybe saying no to an experimental medicine was your first step in rebellion. Because that's really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being a rebel. I'm talking about going against the grain. And if that's you, well, it's going to be very lonely, but I think it's going to be worth it, because at the end of the day, like I said earlier, we're still going to be here, but in what form? At what cost? And if the cost is our integrity as a people, then I don't want it. I want to do something about that. I want to fix that now, if we can. So thank y'all for starting the conversation with me. And like Isla said, if you liked the music, definitely check out Yoshimod. He is a genius, and he's light. He's not white. He's black. And hit him up. He can help you out. If you have some minis, hit me or Isla up for Sunday school, because we've got some fun stuff planned for them this year. And oh yeah, if you liked what I talked about tonight, hit the bell. I have conversations like this all the time. Not really. I have them on like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So tonight's just a special because I was feeling some kind of way. Shout out to you, Dr. Winters, because you put a bug up my ass with that Juneteenth show. If y'all haven't seen it, go check it out. His YouTube is I will post it in the chat for you. I'm gonna do it for you, Isla, because I think I have it. But outside of that, tomorrow night I'm live again with Marie. We're gonna talk about something, I don't know. And then Wednesday, live with Dr. Winters, talking about something else. And then Friday, who knows? Who knows? Dr. Winters, where's your damn channel at? Yoshi, if you're listening to this, it's crazy. I type in Clyde, you pop up. Twice. Alrighty, here it is. His YouTube is at Olmec98. So if you wanted to watch the show that I've been talking about all night, you can check it out on his YouTube that Isla posted in the chat because she's so much better at this than I am. I also posted it. But y'all have a good night.
If you're not going to speak up, you're the one to do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the one to do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the one to do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the one to do. Vampires, they prey on your fears and stay away. Vampires, they prey on your fears, control your atmosphere.